Alright, so we are in here in Kings Island. I recorded a video before we were in the park. We actually are here before it even says the opening date. But yeah, the video was weird, so I had to delete it. But yeah, we are now in Kings Island. We are heading over to Flight of Fear first, and then to do Orion. However, we're probably going to buy Fastlane Plus later in the day to ride everything because we're only here for one day. So yeah, gonna try to get everything in. Okay, so immediately as we got into the park, we are heading over straight back to the back of the park to Flight of Fear and Orion. Because I've heard that Flight of Fear probably gets one of the longest lines in the park. And then Orion is literally right there. So we haven't gotten our Fastlane Pluses yet because we're going to do these first. And yeah, hopefully Orion will not be a long line after we do Flight of Fear. You can see the racer there with the awesome repaint, and I'm pretty sure it got retracked pretty recently too. So yeah, we are almost to Flight of Fear and Orion. To Area 72, I think, something like that. And we are now entering Area 72 under the racer with, you can see Orion over there. It's testing right now. Well, actually, people might be on it. And here we are, about to ride Flight. We're now going for our first ride on Orion. Okay, so it turns out that before the park is actually open, most of the rides are just closed. And Orion here is only open for pass holders right now. So we will not be riding it right now, but I'm just going to try to get some footage of it while we wait. And I don't know, maybe we'll just go get the fast lane instead while we wait for the rides to actually open here. Okay, so the rides at Kings Island will be opening up here pretty soon, but I'm just getting some footage while we wait. You can see some of the rides going right now. Orion. We're debating whether we're gonna go on Flight of Fear or Orion first, so not sure, but yeah, when the rides actually do open up, yeah, I will give an update, and we'll be on some rides pretty soon. We are now going on the Flight of Fear. Okay, so we just got off of Flight of Fear, and yeah, I mean, that was pretty cool. The theming was honestly great. The launch out of the station I was not expecting, that was good. The ride is definitely not the smoothest. I'm pretty sure it's either the first or one of the first premier launch coasters, so yeah. It was pretty fun now, though, and now we are going on Orion for our first ever ride. Alright, so we just got off of our very first ride on Orion. We sat in the very front row because I figured that the front row Orion will probably get longer as we get into the day, and we're probably going to do it again in the very back. But, oh man, it was so fun, and it was so cold. It's like 60 degrees out, and I'm from Florida, so yeah, that's very cold, especially going 91 miles per hour. Dropping 300 feet, man, just such a fun coaster. But yeah, now we're gonna go again, probably right in the very back row. So yeah, a lot of fun on Orion here. All right, so just got off of another ride on Orion, this time in the very back row. And after getting one ride in the front and one ride in the back, I have to say I do like the back more. For now, we're gonna leave the Area 72 Plaza, go ride some other rides. However, we will be back to ride Orion later on. So far, we are not sure whether we are going to get the fast lane or not, because so far the lines aren't looking huge, but this depends on the lines for the other rides in the park. So now we are going on the Racer. All right, so we just got off of the Racer, and I know it was just retracked. I don't think the whole thing, but a lot of it was retracked, I think last year in 2022. It definitely is not very rough. There are some rough sections, definitely, but most of it's pretty smooth, enjoyable. It's definitely not an intense ride or anything, but there is a little bit of decent airtime on it, so yeah. We sat in the very front row, and it was pretty cool. Now we are headed over to the Backlot Stunt Coaster to probably get only one ride on that, but it is a 5-minute wait, so yeah, and I'm pretty sure that ride has pretty good theming. So yeah, we are heading over to the Backlot Stunt Coaster right now, and then after that probably to Diamondback and Mystic Timbers over in that area. Alright, so we just got off of the Backlot Stunt Coaster. It's a pretty fun family coaster, honestly. We sat in the very front, which is obviously the best experience too, for the launches, and I didn't really expect, like, I didn't know it had a section where it like went underground in the dark like that. Very cool. So yeah, now we're gonna head over to Mystic Timbers and Diamondback to get some rides on those. We are now going to get our first rides on Mystic Timbers. Not sure how long the line is, but we're going to try to get more than one ride. Alright, so we just got off our very first ride of Mystic Timbers all the way in the back row, and that was extremely good. Now we're going to go in the very front for another ride. I'm still debating where I place this in the park. but it was very, very good. Okay, so we just got off of Mystic Timbers for the second time in the very front. And I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to decide which is better, because the front almost feels like the airtime and the ride experience is like a little bit more crazy, but the drop in the back is way better than the drop in the front. So it's very tough to say. Both are good. I might like the back a little bit more, but I still don't really know. Now, I'm probably gonna get 1 or 2 rides on Diamondback. And yeah, not sure what we're gonna do after that. All right, and here we go for our first rides on Diamondback. Very excited to try this out. Okay, so I just got off of my first ride of Diamondback in the very back row. It was great. Now the debate, which hyper coaster, since they have 2 of them at Kings Island, is the best? Orion or Diamondback? Okay, I'm just kidding about Orion. You know, it is pretty close, honestly. I expected to like Orion a lot more. I do like Orion more. I think it's the better coaster overall. Diamondback is pretty shaky. It is the longer ride. And I think Orion barely edges it out, though. So I definitely like Orion more. But Diamondback is great, too. And now either now or later, because we're going to come back to the park. Probably we'll even come back for the fireworks show, because we're staying at Camp Cedar very close by, and there's a bus that comes every hour. So I'll probably leave eventually, come back for nighttime, get some night rides, watch the fireworks show. But yeah, so we might be getting another ride on Diamondback right now in the very front row pretty soon. But we also have to ride Banshee, the Beast, in Vertigo, and maybe some other rides too, like Delirium. All right, and here we go for a second ride on Diamondback, hopefully in the very front row. Alright, so just got off our second ride on Diamondback. We rode in the very front, and I honestly think the front is better. The drop is definitely better in the back, however, it was way smoother up front. Plus, I think the airtime was equal to the back in the front also. Maybe a little weaker, but still, I would say overall, I do enjoy the front more on Diamondback. And now we are going to get something to eat, probably at the Miami River Brew House here, so... Okay, so we just got out of the Miami River Brew House, and it was pretty good. Now we are going to head over to the Beast. The wait times are starting to get up there. Beast is 45 minutes, but then after that we're going to head over to where Delirium is, Banshee and Vertigo, and The Bat, and stuff like that, and then ride it. All those, probably just once. And then we will get re-rides later. Got to try to ride the Beast at night. And then, ride Mystic Timbers, Orion, stuff like that, also at night later. So now here we go for our first rides on the Beast. Alright, so I just got off of my first ride ever on the Beast, and honestly it was better than I expected. It's actually pretty intense. You could definitely tell the difference between the normal track and like the parts that Gravity Group retracked. Yeah, definitely good though. Mystic Timbers is definitely the best coaster to the park, but we're gonna have to see, compare the night rides later on. now going to be going on the Delirium swing here. All right, and now here we go on Banshee. You can see the awesome entrance line here. I'm very excited to see how this invert is. Okay, so just got off of Banshee. It was a decent wait. But yeah, it was honestly a very good invert. Better than Great Bear in my opinion. I'm trying to think what other inverts I've ridden. Not better than Montu, in my opinion, or Raptor at Cedar Point. But still a very good invert. And I've heard complaints that it was rough a couple of years ago, but this was very smooth, my ride that I just got on it in the very front row. So now we're probably gonna go ride the Bat. Okay, so just got off of the Bat. It's honestly shorter than I expected, like the ride duration is shorter than I expected. However, I can imagine that this would be a pretty cool night ride. And I mean, yeah, it was a pretty cool coaster. It was my first ever aero suspended coaster, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, decent ride. And now we are going to get some water and probably ride in Vertigo, maybe Adventure Express, but not really sure. Okay, so we'll probably be going on Vertigo pretty soon because it's right over there and we haven't been on it yet. I know it's just a Vekoma suspended boomerang, but we'll probably just go on it once if the line isn't long, and then not sure what we'll be doing after that. We might be going home back to Camp Cedar and then coming back later for the firework and drone show later on. Yeah, but for now we're just going to be here, and we haven't ridden Adventure Express yet, so that might be next. Alright, so we just got off of the drop tower, which I actually didn't know, but it's 315 feet tall, so very tall drop tower there. Definitely my favorite still is Falcon's Cherry, but that's probably my... I think I like Dropline more, actually, too, because of the view of the mountains and stuff. However, wow, that's very good. But now we are going to suffer through in Vertigo, just to get the credit, and then after that, not sure really. We're going to be leaving the park soon and then coming back later, but not exactly sure what we're going to do after Vertigo. Alright, and here we go for our first and last rides on Vertigo. Okay, so we just got off of one of the worst rides in the park, which is Vertigo. It's really bad, but I had to ride it to get the credit. But now we are probably going to head over to the Adventure Port to get a ride on... Oh my gosh, I can't even think after riding in Vertigo. To get a ride on Adventure Express, maybe a Soul Spin, and then we're going to head to the Miami River gift shop, get some stuff, then head out, and then come back later for night rides and the firework drone show. And here we go on the Adventure Express. Alright, so we just got off of Adventure Express, and yeah, it's just an Aeromine train. It's very old, rickety, and kind of unenjoyable, honestly. However, the anticlimactic ending is pretty silly. But yeah, now we are heading over to Mystic Timbers, not to get a ride, but to head to the gift shop to get some stuff, and then we are heading out and coming back later. Alright, so we are now leaving Kings Island, and we'll be back later tonight.